Yo, what's good everybody, it's your boy Malcolm and I'm back for another video, and in today's video we are going to be ranking the OG members of Young Justice from worst to best. Let's get into it. Now, as many of you guys know, I've been a Young Justice fan since back when it dropped way back in 2010, but recently, because of my homie, that guy Rai, he's been rewatching all of Young Justice on his YouTube, and it has inspired me to one, rewatch Young Justice with him, and also to do this list. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this might be one of the hardest ranking lists I've had to do. I've done Avatar ranking lists, I've done Ben 10 ranking lists, I've done Steven Universe. Oh no, I haven't. I need to do a Steven Universe ranking list, but I've done a lot of ranking lists, but I think this one might be the hardest because all of the members are very close in terms of usefulness and overall helpfulness to the team. But before we get into the actual ranking, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that noti bell. I think this is my third video of the week, and I got even more coming for you guys. So please hit that noti bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you're looking for more nerd content from me, check out my podcast, The Storm Podcast, where every week we drop about 2 hours worth of nerd content, anime, movies, comics, all types of nerdy stuff. If you're a nerd, which you probably are because you're watching this video, go ahead, check out The Storm Podcast. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, before we get into the actual ranking of the members, let me explain to you guys how we're going to be ranking them. We are not ranking them by the strongest member. If we were doing that, this list would be completely different. We also are not ranking them by the end of the series in seasons 3 and 4. No, we are ranking them from season 1. So while a lot of these weaknesses that I'm gonna mention in this video got solved as they grew up and became better and better heroes, we don't give a fuck about none of that right now. If you guys want a video about the future, we can do that, but right now, it's just the OG team. The criteria that I'm using to rank them is their strength, their versatility. Yes, combat is a part of it, but it's not everything. I'm also ranking them by their overall usefulness to the team, how well they work with everybody, and how necessary they are to the team. And also, how good they are on their own without the team, because that is part of it as well. You're not always going to be with everybody on a mission. All right, now that we got the criteria out of the way, let's get into it. In the last place position, it hurts my soul, but I gotta put Artemis. Artemis is an expert marksman. If you gotta hit something from long distance, Artemis is the one to call. Her marksman skills are impeccable. Now, they're not as good as Green Arrow or even as Red Arrow, but they're still up there when it comes down to sniping. She is also in peak physical condition for a girl of her age. That means top of the line conditioning, strength, acrobatics, and all of those things. And a lesser known fact, Artemis is also smart as hell. Now, she's not on genius level like some of the other members of her team, but she's very smart. She has a very good grasp over things like chemistry, science, and things of the sort. She actually got into Wayne Academy off a scholarship. A lot of people don't know that. Artemis is a great asset to the team. She adds something on and off the battlefield. She is great. However, she doesn't add much original value. First off, she's a human. So when it comes down to a lot of meta level threats, she just can't handle those. And at the end of the day, she doesn't add too much that Robin doesn't add himself. When we really break it down and look at it, there's not much she can do that Robin can't do 10 times better. The only real difference is she has a bow and not batarangs. I don't want y'all to take this to mean that she's not good. She really is, but if we're really splitting hairs and looking at the team, she's probably the worst one on here. If she wasn't there, we would suffer a loss, but like, if Robin's there, we're not suffering that big of a loss. But shout out to Artemis though. All right, now before I say who's in the number 5 spot, remember I told y'all this was a very hard list to make. I had to really lock in and make these hard decisions. Y'all aren't gonna like who's in the 5th place position, but when I explain it, it's gonna make a lot more sense to y'all. It's Superboy. Superboy is a half human, half Kryptonian clone of Superman. So he has almost all of Superman's powers, but to a lesser degree. That means he has super strength, super speed, super invulnerability, and he also has super hearing and super vision. When I say super vision, I don't mean heat vision. He can't shoot lasers, but he does have infrared sight and telescopic sight. Because he's only half Kryptonian, he can't fly, he doesn't have X-ray vision, and he doesn't have heat vision. But for the most part, he does have all those powers. He's not as strong as Superman, but he is a fucking powerhouse. If this list was based off strictly power, Superboy would be number one. Unfortunately, it's not. Now, even though he overcame this later on in Young Justice in seasons 2, 3, and 4, in the first season, he is extremely ignorant and hot-headed. He is not great at working with the team because it's so easy for him to get his buttons pressed and fly off the handle. His ego is big, so he doesn't like taking orders.
Don't give me orders. Give me orders either.
And because he lacks the ability to keep his cool, he's easily manipulated by the supervillains. As you watch, there are many times where Superboy is supposed to just stay chill and not do anything, but then somebody presses his button, says something, gets him all riled up, he tweaks out, and they defeat him easily because he can't keep his cool and he can't use his head. He doesn't work well in the team, but he also doesn't work well on his own because he's not wise enough or cool-headed enough to make good decisions by himself. He has the potential to truly become one of the greats, which he did do in later seasons, but at the beginning of the season, that's all it really was potential. If you need to punch something hard or hit something, point him in a direction and let him go. But other than that, he doesn't have too much use. He's more of just like a tool that doesn't always work the way you want it to. I love Superboy, but I can't put him any higher than the 5th place position because he's just not good at playing his part.
Connor, no!
Now, next up in the 4th place position, it kills me to put him here, but if I'm being honest, this is just where he belongs. It's your boy Robin. The original Robin in Young Justice is Dick Grayson. So not only was he trained by Batman, but he was also a former acrobat in the Flying Graysons. The combination of being in the circus and working with Batman put him in tip-top peak shape for his age. He is a master acrobat, peak endurance, peak strength, peak agility, all of those things at the top of the line as they could be for his age. He is also a master martial artist being trained in multiple different forms of martial art. He has ninja level stealth capabilities, marksmanship on the level of almost Artemis, top of the line detective skills. He's a master hacker and computer technician. He's a master strategist and has a wide array of tools and weapons such as batarangs, eskrima sticks, tasers, grappling hooks, and a lot more. He is a Swiss Army knife, a mini Batman, and damn near everything you could ask for from a human hero. But here are the reasons why he's so low on this list. First off, even though he's a peak human, he's still just a human, so he does have a hard time dealing with like big meta threats that they go up against all the time. Also, in season 1, Robin was a little immature, and his immaturity caused problems for himself and the team multiple times throughout the show. He made some poor decisions due to immaturity. He let his ego get ahead of him, especially when it came to battling for leadership with Aqualad. There were a lot of times where it was very obvious that he was still a very young hero and wasn't in the place to get to the point where we all knew he was going to get by the end of the series. Another big downside that Robin had was he spent all of his time working with Batman, and him and Batman got so in tune and so in line that they didn't have to communicate with each other. So a lot of times when they would be on missions with the team, he wouldn't communicate. He would just do things and expect everybody to know what he was doing. So people would look up, he would go off base and people would be like, yo, where's Robin? What the fuck is he doing? And it wasn't like he was doing it because he felt like he was better than them or felt like he wasn't supposed to communicate. He just wasn't used to it. Him and Batman were like this. They shared one brain. They never had to communicate. And that caused issues during a couple different missions during the show. Now, I love Robin. I think Dick Grayson is the GOAT. Nightwing is the absolute GOAT, especially later on in the series of Young Justice. But at this point in time, I just can't put him any higher than 4. Next up on the list in the 3rd place position, we have Kid Flash. Kid Flash has pretty much all of the Flash's ability at a lesser degree. He has superhuman speed, accelerated healing, super endurance, and super reflexes. Kid Flash also has a very high intelligence level with a very strong grasp of science. The reason I put Kid Flash in the number 3 position is because even though he can be a little immature just like Robin off the battlefield, once it comes down to a mission, he's the perfect role player. If you need him to do something and you tell him what to do, he's gonna get it done. Not to mention, his speed is always going to be an incredible asset. Whether that's recon, combat, or really anything, if you need something done in a hurry, he's gonna get it done. he can do close combat, and because of his speed, he's great for long distances. He's really the perfect middle of the pack player. Yeah, he's not as fast as the Flash is, but he's still fast enough to where that doesn't matter. He's fast as shit. In the second place position, we have Miss Martian. Miss Martian can do a lot. Because she's a Martian, she has all the Martian abilities, and it's a long list, so let's get into it. She has the ability to shapeshift. She can camouflage to the level of basically being invisible. She has super strength. She can density shift in order to phase through objects. She has telepathy. She has telekinesis. She can fly, and she also has master control over her bioship. Miss Martian can do damn near anything. The main reason why she's not in the first place position is because even though she has so many powers and can do so many things, because of her own insecurity, she can't use her powers to the fullest extent of them. She kind of holds herself back. As we saw in later seasons, she can do a lot, and she is a real fucking powerhouse when she's not holding back. But throughout the first season, she just didn't have full mastery over her abilities. And due to her not having full control, if she used her powers to a higher level, she would get exhausted relatively quickly. So she can't use them at a high level for long periods of time. So she wouldn't be able to stop a really big object with her telekinesis or use her telepathy against a telepath with a higher ability than her. Also, because she's a Martian, I should mention that she does have a weakness to fire and heat, but that damn near never happens, so it barely even matters. Miss Martian is the GOAT, but there is one more person who is in that number one position, and they 1000% deserve it. There's no way y'all haven't figured it out by now, because there's only one person left. In the first place position, we have Aqualad. Before he decided to become Aquaman's sidekick, he was training in Atlantean sorcery, which gives him a wide range of abilities. He can generate electricity from his eel tattoos. He can either use that directly or channel that electricity through his water. He also has hydrokinesis, so he can control water to make it do damn near anything. We've seen him make whirlpools and blast water at people and all types of things of the sort. And he also has probably his most recognizable ability, his hard water constructs. That's when he uses his Atlantean sorcery to take water and turn it into different weapons. Like we've seen him use swords, maces, shields, sledgehammers, and all types of different shit. Due to him being an Atlantean, he also has a higher level of durability and he can breathe underwater. Not to mention he's an expert hand-to-hand combatant. He's number one on this list because even at his young age, he reached almost his top potential and became damn near a perfect hero. He's a perfect combination of powers, ability, strategy, leadership. He really has it all. It's not easy to take a team of ignorant teenage sidekicks and raise them to the level of being able to complete missions that the Justice League even failed on. And that was all due to his leadership capabilities. I mean, not to mention he did have a really good team. Outside of his leadership and teamwork, his abilities and temperament make him good enough to really be a solo hero whenever he needs to be. There aren't many negatives you can put on Aqualad in the first season. Now, once we start to talk about later seasons, he made some questionable decisions that probably weren't the best choices. But in the first season, he's easily the best member of the team. That's the list. Let me know what you guys think of it. I told y'all it was not easy to do. A lot of these characters are very close in ability level, but I think I did a very good job ranking them. Let me know if y'all feel differently. And if you guys want to see me rank the later season of Young Justice, it's going to be a lot harder because there are a lot of goddamn characters in that show. But I'm up for the challenge if you guys are rocking with it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If y'all haven't done so already, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.